Do you have players in need of humbling? Has your party been getting a little too cocky, mocking your enemies and flaunting the magic items you gave them? Maybe they've made fun of your NPC names one too many times. Or worst of all, perhaps they're playing a rogue. You need to hire Orcus, Demon Lord of Undeath and Destroyer of D&D parties since 1976. With a deadly arsenal of tools at his disposal and stats that'll make even the biggest min-maxer run for cover, there's nobody better to lay down the law and reestablish your authority as a dungeon master. Don't believe me? Here's all the services Orcus has to offer. When your party starts to become murder hobos, you don't have time to wait. You need action now. And boy, does Orcus deliver. With a wave of his wand, which comes included in his Monsters of the Multiverse package, he can use 2 of the artifact's 7 charges to cast Power Word Kill, instantly getting rid of one of those pesky players who have 100 hit points or less. But that's not all. If the party dares to meet him at his law firm, occasionally referred to as his lair, he can use it again on initiative count 20 as one of his lair actions. He doesn't even need to see the target, just know that they're around. When Orcus steps onto the scene, you know he means business. Your players may try to file for damages against Orcus. Literally, they'll be trying to kill him, but unfortunately for them, there's no better public defender. With his wand in hand, this fiend's AC jumps to a whopping 20, and his hit points sit at a beefy 405. But those are the least impressive of his protections. He resists common damage types like fire, lightning, and cold, while being completely immune to necrotic and poison. And if they even try to file against him with non-magical means, he'll be unaffected by those too. Your players might think that their spells can help get around those defenses, and they'd be wrong. Orcus has advantage on saving throws against any magical effects or spells they try to hit him with. And even if he somehow fails with massive bonuses to his saves, like plus 15 con or plus 13 wisdom, he'll just use his 3 legendary resistances to succeed anyway. And if they still hit through all of that, he can't be charmed, poisoned, or frightened. Not to mention, the man doesn't get exhausted. He's always working tirelessly for his clients. When not defending against your players' feeble attempts to fight back, Orcus serves as judge, jury, and executioner for guilty parties. He does this with a host of attacking options, each as devastating as the last. That wand I mentioned earlier, those charges can be used for a lot more than just Power Word Kill. How does Finger of Death for a single charge sound? Or maybe Blight without even using one up? And if they get too close, he'll throw the book at them, meaning he'll literally smack them with the wand. It's plus 19 to hit and deals an average of 37 damage. Of course, he doesn't need his wand to convict. He's still got his tail, 30 average damage, and necrotic bolts to keep your players at bay. And even when it's the parties go, Orcus is a legendary cross-examiner. He can use his tail and bolts in between the players' turns. And to make matters worse, his creeping death ability allows him to create an area where all creatures caught inside are vulnerable to necrotic damage. Looks like they should have split the party after all. But even with all that, Orcus knows that the best don't actually work alone. As an action, he can use his wand to summon up to 500 hit points worth of undead creatures, ready to serve at his beck and call. Let's put that value into perspective for you. You're looking at the equivalent of 3 liches with full legendary actions and spellcasting ready to go. Or maybe you'd like a little more muscle. How about a couple of CR17 Death Knights and 2 Wraiths to back them up? Maybe you prefer a quicker death for the party, rather than a drawn-out case. He can summon 6 Demi-Liches. Let's see the party save against each of their Howl attacks, which can instantly drop them unconscious. Or maybe you want some spectacle. You don't want to just overrun your players, you want to destroy every town and village they've ever loved. Orcus had you covered there too. He'll take care of the party, and the 38 skeletons he summons can deal with the rest. Of course, Orcus isn't perfect. He'll be the first to admit that he has a few blind spots. So if you want the best results, keep this in mind. His damage output is heavily reliant on necrotic, between spells like Finger of Death and Circle of Death, as well as the bolts he fires. If the party has resistance to that deadly type of damage, consider summoning undead creatures that don't rely on it as much to assist him with the case. His creeping death cylinder, the one that will make your players vulnerable to necrotic damage, also lasts until the end of his next turn. So for maximum effect, consider using it right before he goes, so your party doesn't have a chance to get out of the way. Orcus also isn't the fastest bad guy in the game. He's got a fly speed of 40, which is nice, but not incredible. And if cornered, that 20 AC and 400 hit points can be whittled away by a high-level party with a lot of weapons. Not to mention, he needs a full action to set up his undead minions and really get going in the fight. But don't worry, we've thought of everything. Once per day, he can cast Time Stop, giving him 1d4 plus 1 turns in a row to do whatever he wants, so long as another creature isn't affected. So he can use the first couple of turns to fly as high as he likes, no opportunity attacks incurred, and then summon a horde of undead minions from up to 300 feet away. From there, he can leisurely make his way back down to the battlefield, blasting any players who follow him into the sky with his spells and necrotic bolts. Is it a little cheesy? Sure, But like any good lawyer, Orcus knows how to abuse a good loophole. No matter how you slice it, Orcus is the perfect guy to put your players in their place. Some people might find his methods barbaric, and they may even call you a bad DM for sending a literal demon lord after the first level party who stole from a shopkeeper one time. But you'll be too busy drinking their tears and thanking your lucky stars that this fiend was there to get the job done. Orcus, he fights for the dead man.
Orcus is not liable for the loss of your IRL party due to the beatdown he puts on them at the table. Payment can be made out to the Abyss in the form of souls, life debts, and other applicable currencies. Orcus does not accept cases involving decks of many things, holy avengers, or 20th level druids. If you're experiencing a chaotic stupid player, please hang up and call Wizards of the Coast immediately. This offer is not valid in the Forgotten Realms.